What do women want? Dresses with pockets, nail polish that does not chip, guilt-free desserts that actually taste good, the freedom to go out at night without the fear. The list can go on and on. But I feel today what women need is financial literacy, inclusion, and independence. It's quite an honor to be here today in a city I've called home for the last 15 years. Kanpur, my city by marriage, and I'm grateful for how lovingly it welcomed and took me in. Thank you to the organizers of TEDx for giving me this platform to share my views. I'm Arti Gupta, and I've been managing money and investments for over a decade. I've also been involved in working with organizations that advocate policy and put out programs that support women empowerment. And that is why I feel extremely passionate about the topic I'm going to speak today. I'm lucky to have been blessed with an amazing, supremely supportive family who have made it easier for me to juggle the many roles I play, that of a mother, an investor, a mentor, an economist, and more. I'm also grateful for a professional career that has seen growth and have received recognition. But despite this, even when I travel thrice around the country in a single week, meet dignitaries, host events and conferences every other day, I cannot escape the question most men probably never have to answer. How do you leave your daughter and travel so much? Do you manage to get enough time to spend with your family? Is your daughter okay growing up with you working? I'm not special. Probably every successful woman faces a similar sort of questions. Even an icon like Indra Nooyi cannot escape questions related to family and childcare at interviews. I wonder if Mark Zuckerberg ever has to answer these questions. Actually, does Mark Zuckerberg even have children? For those of you wondering, yes, he does. 2 beautiful daughters. Despite us being in the 21st century, people still struggle to accept working women, especially working moms. For centuries, women have been the karta dhartas of household finances. We beautifully manage expenses and are excellent budget masters and savers. But still, when it comes to important family financial decisions about investments, it is the men who control the purse strings of most Indian households. I think this needs to change. Whether a woman brings in money or not, I think decisions regarding family finances should be taken jointly. Financial inclusion of both men and women is paramount. Here's a story I want to share with you. I have a friend, let's call her A. I went to college with her and recently met her up for coffee. She runs an extremely successful luxury clothing line and has over 100,000 followers on Instagram. A perfect example of girl boss, I must say. But I was surprised to hear that even she was not involved in her family's financial decisions. She was not even involved in where her own earnings went. She either put it in the bank or a bond or mutual fund where her husband suggested. Here, I am not doubting the husband's capabilities to make those investments. He may be the best in the industry and the most suited for the job. My question is, or my concern is, the lack of awareness and inclusion. That's what troubles me. At an organization I'm deeply involved with, I've noticed there are a number of women who do not know the basics of banking. How to do an online transfer, what is RTGS, NEFT, how to fill up a check. And these are privileged women with college degrees and all the resources at their disposal. I wonder if they could take and top courses, ace calculus, what about banking and investment scares them so much? This is not an anomaly. A recent survey showed that about 33%, only 33% of women make independent financial decisions. Ladies, let's get that number to at least a 50%, and hey, why not aim 100%? Whether you're a recent graduate or in a part-time job or a full-time homemaker, I feel financial inclusion is important for every individual. I've met so many ambitious, talented women who were so passionate about their careers only to drop it once they've got married. I respect homemakers a lot and the effort it takes to put a household together. I even respect and understand the requirement for a pause. But for most, that pause becomes a full stop. Why limit ourselves and end up staying in our comfort zone and not reach our true potential? Our society sees marriage as a pivotal point in everybody's life, especially women. She uproots herself, changes home, molds herself into a new family, and that is a beautiful part of life. But after going to the best of colleges and working at the best of corporates, do we really need to put a full stop to our dreams and ambitions? How can we continue to put our education and talent to optimal use? Now I know these questions are not easy to answer, but in my experience, we can make it happen, and hey, let's work towards making it happen. When I got married, I moved to Kanpur straight from Boston after my postgraduate. Initially, I struggled to find what I wanted to do with my education, to find purpose outside my home responsibilities. I started working with my husband, but it was not something which I wanted to do. I figured out I wanted to work in the field of economics and finance. So I enrolled myself for a doctorate at IIT Kanpur with a 2-year-old daughter. And she was 6 and in the audience when I was giving my final PhD dissertation. One of the main reasons I did this is because I wanted to be a role model for her. I wanted her to know that your age, your city, your circumstances, your surroundings do not matter. What matters is your drive, grit, and determination to make your dreams come true, and the hard work you put in to make those dreams come true. Obviously, just getting the degree was not enough. Over the years, I've had to train and retrain myself to reach where I am today. Sure, I was lucky to find a support system in my family and friends, many of whom are there in the audience today, and I'm very, very grateful for that. But one has to earn it themselves and learn to overcome the obstacles themselves. I cannot even count the number of times I held meetings with bankers and executives only to find out later that they had gone back to my husband and father-in-law to reconfirm my decisions. Perhaps these bankers have been classically conditioned to men calling the shots. Thankfully, my family sent out a loud and clear message every time that the decision will come from me. The Lalita Sahasranama has a beautiful phrase I would like to share with you. Ichha Shakti, Gyan Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Swarupini. It translates to, womenness is the source of intention, knowledge, and execution of any task. The power behind everyone's thought, plan, and action is Prakriti, which is nothing but a swarup of women. In 21st century speak, that translates to, hey, women are really good at doing things. And that includes money matters. Let me break it to you what I mean by financial inclusion. Getting your own bank account is 1. Being a joint holder in your family's bank account is 2. Having a credit line and a credit card in your name is 3. Being able to make online transactions. Yes, online transactions in this day and age. Ladies, how many of you make payments online and wait for your partners to send you the OTP? I've been guilty of that for some time. Then there is the ability to make investments in bonds and mutual funds. I say start small. Whether it is 100 rupees or 1,000 rupees, whatever you can spare. Start making those investments. Make a plan. SIPs are a great way to begin. Once you start investing, you'll be surprised at the power of compounding. There are a number of apps today that help you both with learning and execution of investments. Go, learn about these apps. Whatever may be your employment status, I think, ladies, financial inclusion, and I think not just ladies, all the students also out there at the back, put effort into learning about money, because financial inclusion is what will give you true empowerment. Financial inclusion brings back agency. Money gives one power. Money gets you involved in decision making. It gets you a seat at the table. It also makes economic sense, right? If you learn about financial instruments, you have the ability to help your family take informed decisions in their investments. And who knows, you may be really good at it and actually contribute towards the wealth generation of your family. And even if you're not good at it, financial literacy will bring you security. Learning about money will tell you what to do when things collapse. And trust me, living without that security is a terrifying idea, especially with the last couple of years we've had. One of my most important reasons for doing this or advocating for this is you are the role model for your next generation, because representation matters. You need someone who looks like you, who was raised like you, do it before you can believe that you can do it. If you are involved in your family's financial decisions, if you have a seat at the table, your children will also learn it and want it. Talk to your children about money. You are never too young to learn about income and expenditure, investments and savings. I think financial literacy should be a part of every school curriculum. You know, we teach or we impart education to our children to earn money, but we do not teach them how to manage money. To all the men in the audience, this mission needs you too. Financial inclusion of women is a family issue. If you have daughters, you may be used to the concept of Shadi Fund. Do not just give your daughters this fund as security. Give them the agency, the financial wisdom to use it, to grow it. You know, our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, has also called for a full participation of women in the nation's growth story. I think that will only happen when we expand his own slogan of Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, and add Beti Kamao to it. Because unless our girls are financially independent, we will never be a truly empowered nation. And men, like I said before, we need you as allies in this. Talk to your wives about your business. Teach them, tell them what the investments are, and keep them in the know. Do not just teach your sons, but also teach your daughters about financial instruments and financial independence. These little things can go a long way, and they need to begin in our homes. In my personal experience, true empowerment comes when we help someone reach their own potential. Ladies, trust me, you already have all the tools you need. You just need to start walking towards your goals. Success doesn't come secondhand. One needs to climb the heights on their own strength. It's time to climb up, ladies, and I cannot wait to see you at the top. Thank you.